The story of Adolf Hitler has been exhaustively documented, but there exists a lesser-known dimension that generates profound curiosity. What happened to his family members after the collapse of the Third Reich? While the world processed the horrors of the Holocaust and the most devastating war in history, the Nazi dictator's relatives faced an uncertain fate, marked by the weight of a surname that had become synonymous with absolute evil. The Hitler family was not extensive, but each of its members lived very different consequences after the regime's fall. Some adopted new identities, others took refuge in anonymity, and a few decided to publicly confront their family heritage. This is the story of how the Hitler surname gradually disappeared from the face of the earth, and of the extraordinary decisions made by those who bore it to distance themselves from the darkest legacy of the 20th century. The Hitler family structure. To understand the fate of the Hitler family, we must first establish who these relatives were. Adolf Hitler came from a relatively small and dysfunctional family. His father, Alois Hitler, had had 3 marriages and several children, creating a complex family structure that would be profoundly affected by subsequent events. Adolf Hitler's closest family members included his sister Paula Hitler, born in 1896, his half-brother Alois Hitler Jr., son of his father's first marriage, and the latter's children, William Patrick Hitler, born in 1891 in Liverpool, and Heinz Hitler, born in 1920 in Germany. There were also other more distant relatives, such as descendants of the family line in Austria. Adolf Hitler's relationship with his family was always problematic. He maintained limited contact with most of his relatives, and some of them came to publicly express their disapproval of his political actions. This family distance would prove paradoxically beneficial for some of them when the time came to face the consequences of bearing the Hitler surname. Paula Hitler, the silent sister. Paula Hitler, Adolf Hitler's only full sister, lived a deliberately discreet existence during the Nazi regime. She worked as a secretary in Vienna and maintained a distant but cordial relationship with her brother. During the war, she received a pension from the Nazi government, but avoided any public participation in political events. When the war ended in 1945, Paula was interrogated by the Allies as part of the investigation into the Hitler family. The interrogations revealed that she had maintained minimal contact with Adolf during the war years, communicating mainly through occasional letters. Paula consistently claimed that she did not support her brother's actions and that she had remained on the sidelines of politics. After the interrogations, Paula adopted her mother's maiden name, becoming Paula Wolf. She retired to a small town in Austria, where she lived very modestly on a small pension. For decades, she consistently rejected offers from journalists and writers seeking to interview her about her brother. She maintained such a low profile that many historians lost track of her for years. Paula died in 1960, taking many secrets about Adolf Hitler's private life with her. Her decision to change her surname and withdraw from public view became the model that other members of the Hitler family would follow, the deliberate pursuit of anonymity as a form of survival. Alois Hitler Jr., the troubled half-brother. Alois Hitler Jr., Adolf Hitler's half-brother, had a conflictive personality that put him in disagreement with the future dictator on multiple occasions. Before the war, Alois had worked as a waiter in several European countries and had had problems with the law on multiple occasions, including accusations of bigamy. During Adolf's rise to power, Alois tried to capitalize on his family relationship to obtain economic benefits. This mercenary attitude deeply annoyed Adolf Hitler, who ordered that he be kept under surveillance and limited his access to power circles. The relationship between the brothers deteriorated to the point where Adolf came to consider Alois a disgrace to the family. When the war ended, Alois was captured by Allied forces and subjected to a denazification process. Although he had never held an official position in the Nazi regime, his surname made him an object of suspicion. He was interned in a prisoner camp where he remained for 2 years, from 1945 to 1947. After his release, Alois changed his surname to Hiller, removing one letter in an attempt to distance himself from his infamous brother. He settled in a small German town where he worked as a traveling salesman until his death in 1956. His transformation from Alois Hitler to Alois Hiller symbolized the family's desperate effort to escape their toxic inheritance. William Patrick Hitler, the most fascinating story. The story of William Patrick Hitler is perhaps the most fascinating of the entire family. Born in Liverpool to an Irish mother and German father, William grew up in England speaking English as his native language. His relationship with his famous uncle was complex and eventually became one of the most extraordinary stories of World War II. In the 1930s, William visited Germany on several occasions, trying to obtain work or economic benefits through his family connection. Adolf Hitler initially received him with some cordiality, but gradually began to distrust his nephew's intentions. William, for his part, felt increasingly uncomfortable with Nazi ideology and his uncle's actions. The definitive break came when William returned to England and began writing articles in British newspapers criticizing the Nazi regime. In 1939, he published an article titled "Why I Hate My Uncle" in Look magazine, where he publicly denounced Adolf Hitler's actions. This article made him a public figure and positioned him as a vocal critic of Nazism. When the United States entered the war after Pearl Harbor, William made a decision that surprised many. He enlisted in the US Navy to fight against his uncle's regime. His application was initially rejected due to his surname, but was finally accepted after an exhaustive FBI investigation. William served as a pharmacist in the Pacific, participating in operations against Japan, Nazi Germany's ally. The complete identity transformation. After the war, William Patrick Hitler made the most radical decision of the entire family. He not only changed his surname but adopted a completely new identity. He became William Stewart Houston, adopting his American stepfather's surname. This transformation was legal and complete, eliminating any official trace of his connection to the Hitlers. William settled in Long Island, New York, where he married Phyllis Jean-Jacques in 1947. The couple had 4 children: Alexander Adolf Stewart Houston, born in 1949; Louis Stewart Houston, born in 1951; Howard Ronald Stewart Houston, born in 1954; and Brian William Stewart Houston, born in 1956. The choice of the name Alexander Adolf for his first child was particularly significant and controversial. Some historians interpret this as William's way of appropriating his uncle's name and neutralizing its symbolic power. Others see it as a problematic decision that kept alive the family connection he supposedly wanted to eliminate. William worked as a medical laboratory technician and later established a small blood analysis business. He lived a deliberately common and ordinary life, avoiding any media attention. His transformation from Nazi dictator's nephew to American middle-class citizen represented one of the most complete personal reinventions in modern history. Heinz Hitler, the tragic contrast. Heinz Hitler, Alois Hitler Jr.'s other son, had a very different fate from his brother William. Born in Germany in 1920, Heinz grew up under the direct influence of the Nazi regime and became a fervent follower of his uncle's ideology. Unlike William, Heinz completely embraced his family connection with Adolf Hitler. He joined the Hitler Youth and subsequently served in the German army during World War II. His loyalty to the Nazi regime put him in a very different position from other family members when the war ended. Heinz was captured by Soviet forces in 1942 during the Stalingrad campaign. His subsequent fate remains uncertain, but records suggest he died in Soviet captivity, possibly in 1943. His death on Soviet territory meant he never had the opportunity to face the consequences of bearing the Hitler surname in the post-war period. Heinz's story represents the path not taken by other members of the Hitler family. While his relatives sought to distance themselves from the Nazi legacy, Heinz had chosen to embrace it completely. His death during the war eliminated the possibility of him facing the same difficult decisions his surviving relatives had to make. The Stewart Houston generation. William Patrick Hitler's children, now known as the Stewart Houstons, grew up in the United States, completely unaware of their family heritage during their early years. William and his wife Phyllis made the decision not to reveal the family's true identity until the children were old enough to understand the implications. When the truth was finally revealed to them, the 4 Stewart Houston brothers reacted differently. Alexander Adolf, despite bearing the middle name of his infamous great-uncle, decided to maintain a low profile and avoid any public discussion of his heritage. Louis Stewart Houston followed a similar trajectory, working as a social counselor and keeping his family identity secret. Howard Ronald Stewart Houston became the most vocal of the brothers, occasionally speaking with historians and journalists about the experience of carrying Hitler blood. Brian William Stewart Houston, the youngest, chose a completely private life, consistently refusing any contact with the media. According to unconfirmed reports, the Stewart Houston brothers made an extraordinary decision sometime in the 1980s. They agreed not to have children, so that Adolf Hitler's direct bloodline would die out with them. This decision, if true, would represent one of the most dramatic gestures of family repudiation in modern history. The extended family's fate. In addition to direct descendants, there were other, more distant relatives of Adolf Hitler in Austria who also faced consequences after the war. The extended family included cousins, uncles, and other relatives who had maintained the Hitler surname or its variations. Many of these Austrian relatives changed their surnames immediately after the war. Records show that several Hitlers became Hiedlers, Hutlers, or adopted completely different surnames. This massive name transformation represented a collective effort by the extended family to escape association with the dictator. In Hitler's native region of Austria, local authorities faced the problem of what to do with sites associated with the Hitler family. The house where Adolf Hitler was born in Braunau am Inn became a persistent problem, as it attracted both morbid tourists and Nazi sympathizers. Austrian authorities implemented various strategies to discourage these visits, including the removal of commemorative plaques and access restrictions. The Braun family connection. Although Eva Braun was not technically Hitler family until the last hours of her life, when she married Adolf Hitler in the Berlin bunker, her story and that of her family provide an interesting contrast to the fate of the dictator's blood relatives. Eva Braun committed suicide alongside Hitler on April 30, 1945. But her family survived the war. Her sister, Gretel Braun, who had been married to Hermann Fegelein, an SS officer executed by Hitler days before his own suicide, faced extensive interrogations by the Allies. The Braun family adopted a different strategy from the Hitlers. Instead of changing their surnames, they opted for total silence. Gretel Braun retired to a private life in Bavaria, where she remarried and avoided any contact with the media. Her decision to keep the Braun surname but reject any public discussion of her connection to Eva Hitler represented another way of dealing with a problematic family inheritance. Allied investigations and documentation. Immediately after the war, the Allied powers initiated exhaustive investigations to locate and interrogate all members of the Hitler family. The US Army's Counterintelligence Corps, along with British and French intelligence agencies, created detailed files on every known relative of the dictator. These files, many of which remained classified for decades, reveal the scope of the Allied search. Investigators not only sought direct relatives, but also domestic employees, childhood friends, and anyone who had had regular contact with Hitler before the war. The investigation revealed that most of Hitler's relatives had deliberately maintained distance from the dictator during his years in power. This distance proved beneficial during post-war interrogations, as it allowed family members to demonstrate they had not actively collaborated with the Nazi regime. The files also document the strategies adopted by different family members to distance themselves from their heritage. These documents provide a fascinating glimpse into how families of mass crime perpetrators navigate the consequences of their family connections. The mass extinction of a surname. The case of the Hitler family was not unique in post-war Germany. Thousands of Germans with surnames associated with the Nazi regime changed their names in the years following 1945. However, the transformation of the Hitlers was particularly notable for its scope and coordination. Civil records from Germany and Austria show that virtually all bearers of the Hitler surname disappeared from official documents between 1945 and 1950. This massive transformation was not accidental, but the result of deliberate and coordinated decisions by members of the extended family. The legal process for changing surnames in post-war Germany was complex and required official justification. In the case of the Hitlers, German authorities generally approved these changes without major scrutiny, implicitly recognizing that bearing the Hitler surname represented an unsustainable burden in the new democratic society. This massive name transformation represents a unique sociological phenomenon, the deliberate extinction of a surname due to its association with crimes against humanity. The Hitlers not only changed their names but effectively erased their surname from civil existence. Psychological impact on descendants. Subsequent psychological studies on descendants of Nazi perpetrators have revealed the complex emotional burdens these individuals face. In the specific case of the Hitler family, this burden was particularly intense due to Adolf Hitler's unique notoriety as the architect of the Holocaust. Interviews with the few family members who agreed to speak with researchers reveal common patterns of guilt, shame, and social isolation. Many describe the sensation of carrying an invisible mark that separated them from the rest of society, even decades after the war. Paula Hitler, in one of her rare interviews, described the experience of bearing the Hitler surname as a cross I must bear until my death. This description encapsulates the psychological weight experienced by all family members, regardless of their personal relationship with Adolf Hitler. The decision to change surnames did not completely eliminate this psychological burden. Family members who adopted new identities reported a persistent sensation of living a double life, maintaining secrets about their true identity while trying to build normal relationships with others. The treasure hunter phenomenon? In the decades following the war, surviving members of the Hitler family faced an additional problem: individuals claiming to be distant relatives in search of supposed Nazi inheritances. These treasure hunters erroneously believed that Adolf Hitler had accumulated a personal fortune that could be claimed by his relatives. The reality was very different. Adolf Hitler had not accumulated significant personal wealth, and any property associated with him had been confiscated by Allied governments. However, the persistence of these rumors about hidden Nazi treasures continued to attract individuals seeking family connections with the dictator. Authentic members of the Hitler family found this phenomenon particularly bothersome, as it directly contradicted their efforts to distance themselves from their family heritage. The periodic appearance of these treasure hunters in the media served as a constant reminder of their connection to the Nazi past. This phenomenon also revealed the public's morbid fascination with any aspect of Adolf Hitler's life. Family members involuntarily became objects of public curiosity, a situation that reinforced their desire to maintain anonymity. The coordinated extinction. The coordinated decision of Hitler family members to change their surnames represents a unique historical phenomenon, the deliberate extinction of a surname due to its association with crimes against humanity. This massive transformation has no precedent in modern history. Genealogical records show that the Hitler surname and its variations, such as Hiedler and Hitler, completely disappeared from official documents in Europe and America after 1950. This extinction was not the result of external persecution, but of deliberate decisions made by the surname bearers themselves. The coordination of these changes suggests that communication existed between different members of the extended family, despite geographical distances and the difficult circumstances of the post-war period. This implicit coordination represents a form of collective repudiation of Adolf Hitler's legacy. The Hitler family case established a precedent for other families associated with the Nazi regime. In subsequent years, other surnames associated with Nazi war criminals also experienced similar transformations, although none as complete as the extinction of the Hitler surname. Long-term consequences for future generations. The decisions made by Hitler family members in the years immediately following the war have had lasting consequences for subsequent generations. The descendants of William Patrick Hitler, now known as Stuart Houston, have consistently maintained their distance from any public association with their family heritage. The few occasions when family members have spoken publicly have revealed the continuing burden this heritage represents. In occasional interviews, they have described the experience of discovering their true family identity as traumatic and transformative. The supposed decision of the Stuart Houston brothers not to have children to extinguish Adolf Hitler's direct bloodline, if true, represents one of the most dramatic gestures of family repudiation in modern history. This decision would reflect an extraordinary determination to prevent future generations from facing the same burden. However, The veracity of this information remains debated among historians. Some family members have had children, which contradicts the Extinction Pact narrative. The private nature of these family decisions makes it difficult to fully verify these claims. Curious facts and hidden details. One of the most curious aspects of Hitler genealogy is that the family's original surname was Schicklgruber. Adolf Hitler's father, Alois, changed his surname to Hitler in 1877. If this change had not occurred, the dictator would have been known as Adolf Schicklgruber, a name some historians consider would have been less intimidating for Nazi propaganda. William Patrick Hitler's mother, Bridget Dowling, was Irish. This meant William had British citizenship by birth, which allowed him to escape the Nazi regime more easily. His Irish heritage also provided him with an alternative cultural identity he used to distance himself from his German connection. Declassified files reveal that Paula Hitler was interrogated by the Allies on several occasions, between 1945 and 1946. During these interrogations, she provided valuable information about Adolf Hitler's private personality, including details about his childhood that were not known from other sources. The house where Adolf Hitler was born in Braunau am Inn, Austria, became a persistent problem for Austrian authorities. For decades, it attracted both morbid tourists and Nazi sympathizers. In recent years, the Austrian government has taken more drastic measures to discourage these visits, including converting the building into a police station. Many Hitler family documents disappeared during or immediately after the war. Some historians speculate that family members themselves destroyed these documents to eliminate any evidence of their family connections. However, others suggest these documents were confiscated by Allied authorities and remain in classified archives. Unlike other relatives of Nazi war criminals, who occasionally wrote memoirs or gave extensive interviews, Hitler family members adopted a strategy of almost total silence. This strategy was notably successful in keeping their new identities secret for decades. The names chosen by William Patrick Hitler for his children reveal the complexity of his relationship with his family heritage. In addition to Alexander Adolf, the other names were Louis, possibly after the French king, Howard, a typically American name, and Brian, of Irish origin, connecting with his maternal heritage. This mixture of names suggests a deliberate attempt to create a multicultural identity that transcended German associations. Reflections on family guilt and redemption. The story of the Hitler family after World War II raises profound questions about the nature of family guilt and the possibility of redemption. The members of this family did not choose their blood connections but were forced to live with the consequences of their most infamous relatives' actions. Their various strategies for dealing with this heritage, from surname changes to adopting new nationalities, reflect different ways individuals can respond to intolerable family burdens. The virtual extinction of the Hitler surname represents a unique phenomenon in history, a family that collectively decided their surname was irredeemable. At the same time, the story of these individuals demonstrates that it is possible to transcend even the most toxic inheritances. William Patrick Hitler, who fought against his uncle's regime in the US Navy, and Paula Hitler, who lived a life of silent repudiation, show that individuals can choose their own moral path regardless of their family connections. The persistence of public interest in the Hitler family's fate also reveals disturbing aspects of human fascination with evil. The continued search for connections to Adolf Hitler, whether by treasure hunters, amateur genealogists, or simply the curious, suggests that the Nazi dictator's shadow continues to exert a disturbing influence decades after his death. Final conclusions. Ultimately, the story of the Hitler family after the war is both a story of victimization and liberation. These individuals were victims of their involuntary association with one of history's greatest criminals, but they also found ways to free themselves from this burden through courageous and often painful decisions. Their story serves as a reminder that the consequences of crimes against humanity extend far beyond the direct perpetrators, affecting entire families and future generations. At the same time, it demonstrates the human capacity to resist and transcend even the darkest inheritances through conscious moral decisions and the determined pursuit of a new identity. If you found this content interesting and want to continue learning about the lesser-known aspects of history, Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and activate notifications so you don't miss any new content. Your support allows us to continue researching and sharing these fascinating stories that help us better understand our past.